I'd like to read a passage from Juvenal's first satire. This is one of 16, but the first one is where he explains why he is a satirist and why he has to write. And for the next couple of thousand years, this is essentially why satirists write, because they're so full of anger and irritation at everything they see. So he starts off, "If you have the leisure to listen and reason calmly, I will enlighten you. When a flabby eunuch marries, when well-born girls go crazy for pigs sticking up country, bare-breasted, spears in fists, when the barber who rasped away at my youthful beard has risen to challenge good society with his millions, when Crispinus, the Delta-bred house-slave, silt washed down by the Nile, now hitches his shoulders under Tyrian purple," means he's wearing a toga, and he's become richer and better than Juvenal, which is part of his irritation, always, that everyone's doing better than him. Anyway, this man now has a thin gold ring in summer on his sweaty finger. My dear, I couldn't bear to wear my heavier jewellery. This is much richer than Juvenal. He then says, "It's harder not to be writing satire," which is difficile est satirum non scribere. And that's his point. He said, who seeing this monstrous city could swallow his wrath? And that's it. I mean, first century Rome, London, New York, wherever you are, the decadence of these great cities that are full of people on the make and people up to no good. And that's Juvenal's big problem, is that everyone he sees is an informer, a lawyer. He's very, very unkeen on lawyers. Greek, doesn't like the Greeks much. A sportsman who earn more than teachers. Can you believe it? That's one of Juvenal's big worries. So it's essentially the first satire. He says, this is what you're going to get. And then for the rest of them, he just goes off ranting. So if you want to rant about anything in particular, there's a very angry man in a toga who's got exactly what you need. Juvenal was a controversial and difficult and very funny poet, but he was also a brilliant phrase maker. There are at least 3 phrases that we still use all the time, and the ideas of which are absolutely central. The first one, he said that the Roman mob could be pleased by panem et circenses. Give them bread and circuses, the games. Give them, cheap food and television, supermarkets and films. I mean, it is an observation that is still current. The other thing he said famously was, it's no good setting up systems. You have to have someone to monitor those systems. Who guards the guardians? Quis custodiet ipsos custodes. He said it's fine, you get someone to lock someone up, and you've got to check on the people who are locking them up. Again, which is always quoted when people are talking about any ethics of regulation. And the last one, when he got sort of old and more mellow, he said the thing you need in life is mens sana in corpore sano, which is a healthy mind in a healthy body, which could have been written yesterday. The thing with Juvenal is he strikes a lot of postures, and he nowadays a lot of what he says is very, very deeply unacceptable. He's not very keen on women. He's not PC in any sense. But I've got a feeling that he did a lot of this publicly for comic effect. So you get into the problem of how much is he just trying to get a laugh, like any stand-up, and how much does he believe this stuff. I think the anger about corruption, about degeneracy is real. But I think some of it was always much better in the old days of the Republic. It was great in the old days. I mean, that's what everyone always says, for thousands of years. And he's going back to even further. So I'm not sure about that. But I mean, it's fascinating stuff.